day that the Lord has made. Nothing to see like the top down.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Precious Issa. You are welcome once again to my channel. And if you're a new subscriber here, please do not forget to subscribe, hit the like button and share so that YouTube can share my video to many more people out there. And yeah, so this video, as the title says, it's a beginner friendly routine. So yeah, first off, I do my skin prep. That is very important. Skin prep is the most important thing before you do every other thing. And the first thing I applied was the Snail Mucin. I just love what it looks like on my skin. I just love that for my skin. The Snail Mucin is really, really good. You could definitely use a moisturizer that suits your skin type for sure. And then I went in with my e.l.f. Grip Primer because I always prime my skin before my apply my foundation, because I just noticed that priming your skin actually helps it from separating when you sweat. When you sweat, your makeup separates, but priming your skin, prevents that. So yeah. And then I went in with my highlighter, my liquid glow highlighter, just to kind of tan my skin before I apply my foundation, and just to give my skin that, I just don't know what it does, but it does something to my makeup since I added it to my routine. And then the next thing is my L'Oreal True Match foundation. This is in the shade W7. W7. And look how smooth this blends into my skin. I'm using the Younger Beauty foundation brush. If you go on their site, it just says Younger Beauty foundation brush. Yeah. And I make sure to wash all my brushes before I apply my makeup. Like at least after 3 uses, I wash my brushes. And then this is another L'Oreal True Match foundation. I would put everything in the description because right now I'm trying to like wrap up this video and do everything. So right now I do not actually know the shade of that foundation. So yeah, I'll put everything in the description below. And this is the L'Oreal True Match foundation. I use this for my bronzer, or use the Omari Code bronze stick. And these are like, really, really affordable. Everything I'm using are really affordable. And then I blend with an angled brush in a dabbing motion, kind of like a dabbing motion. You can see on my forehead, I'm kind of like swiping because I want it to reach certain areas of my forehead. So, but it's more of like a dabbing motion. And then I apply just what's left on the brush underneath my jawline. And then I just use the same huge brush to blend out my nose contour, because it literally, your nose contour doesn't have to be perfect. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. You define it when you are applying your concealer and then your setting powder. So then I go in with my Nuban Beauty pink blush. This is in the shade Apricot, and then I use a brush. Oh my god, see me saying blush again. Use my blush brush. Okay, I was correct. I usually call blush, like just mix them up. So yeah, I go with my blush brush and just the same dabbing motion. Make sure to take your time. And I found out I wasn't recording while applying my concealer. So yeah, this is just my placement, concealer placement. You have to make sure you set up concealer placement for your face shape, because it does matter. And it really helps. Like it does matter, because I have around face for concealer placement and blush placement. You have to set it up. For my face, that's the placement I use for my face shape, and it just suits my face, you get. And I have a round face actually, so if you also have a round face, then you could just copy my style. And yeah, you can see I'm taking my time to blend. I made sure to include the blending video. Like, it's long, but I made sure to just include it because it's like a beginner friendly routine, and I want you all to know that you cannot rush it. You cannot rush your blending process. So this is just me blending out my concealer and to the upper part of my face to give that lifted look. And I usually apply concealer on my jaw and then my forehead. Blend. And yeah, it looks a bit patchy right now, but don't worry, you still have to go back in with your bronzer blush And yeah, this is just me blending out everything. For the nose, you have to be careful because you don't want concealer all over your nose. And I mean, I just like to just keep it at that point. I just don't want it to spread out. And then the same brush, use it to blend the inner corner. I like to use brush. You could, see what works, find out what works for you. You could use a beauty blender or a brush, but I just like to use brush because I guess I'm just used to it. And then it kind of gives you like a fuller coverage as well. And yeah, blend, blend, blend. And the closer you like, the more you blend closer to that, the bridge of your nose, the smaller your nose would look. So I try to blend the concealer towards that bridge of my nose as much as possible. I just figured that out like recently. And this is just me going back in with the bronzer blush and blending out everything so there are no harsh lines. Yes, you have to make sure you go back in and blend. And yeah. And then I would also advise you going with your blush brush as well to blend in to, you know, um apply, kind of like reapply the blush again. Just don't apply anything on the on your brush, just what was already there, just use it to blend the blush area. And then this is just me applying a concealer 2 shades lighter than my skin tone. Yeah, I forgot to mention that you have to apply a concealer. The first concealer I used was actually 2 shades lighter than my skin tone, and then this one is 3 shades lighter, I guess. But yeah, just make sure it's like the right undertone, and this gives warm undertone. And yeah, and this is me setting, no, this is me blending it out with a blending sponge, a beauty blender, sorry. And then I just go in with my Maybelline Fits Me pressed powder in 220 because like I just cannot do without it at this point. Like I just love the after effects. Like it just makes your under eyes smooth and no patches, nothing like that. Like just smooth. And I had someone tell me that, oh, Nuban Beauty concealers dry out fast. I mean, for me, it doesn't dry out fast. So, but you could always still look out, and it doesn't have to be Nuban Beauty concealer, or even it doesn't have to be the exact products, but just make sure you do your research though. And yeah, I go in with my Nuban Beauty setting powder in mustard. And to be honest, I never thought like warm tone setting powders would like look good on me. But with this, I tried this out like last month and it was giving flawless. Like I just like the way it just like kind of it just gives this like different vibe. I don't know, like it just makes my entire face kind of like rhyme and give this warm tone vibe. So yeah, this is me going in with like a brown shade. I went in with like a brown shade first, and this is me right now blending it out with like a lighter brown shade. Yes. And you make sure you blend properly. I usually don't set my creams like my concealer before applying my eyeshadow. I don't know, I just prefer to not do it. It just gives me more pigment. And then this is me up I blended up my under my eyelid before applying this. This is like a kind of like a shimmery kind of eyeshadow. Yeah, shimmery kind of glitter eyeshadow. And then I go back in with that first brush that I used. And the first color I used, the dark brown I used, sorry. And then you just have to blend. And then this is me using white for the inner corner of my eye because it just had to pop. It was just giving dull, so I had to make it pop, pop, pop. And yeah, I applied white like 100 times because I wanted it to really, really pop. And then I go back in with my bronzing I was about to say blush again, my bronzing brush to redefine my face because my face was looking just bright. But yeah, to give my face is what they call dimension. So yeah, then you do that, and then this is me doing the same for my nose contour, just so that nose contour comes out even, it looks very, very visible. It's contoured enough, like it's contoured well. And then I go in with my blush. I was about to, I don't know why I mix them up, but yeah, go with my blush. And you have to actually check out the blush placement that suits your skin. This is just what suits my face rather. And then I go in with like a lighter shade of blush, a very light shade. And yeah, a light shade of blush. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, I just like to do this because it kind of gives like it gives me a kind of rosy cheeks kind of look. I don't know what to call it, but it just looks better than just plain old pink. And this is me going back in with the first brush I used for the darker pink to just blend it all together. And then I go in with my RCMA translucent powder. You could always use like a pressed powder, a really light pressed powder as well. But I use this one because it still works. And then I just for a brighter under eye, you can see the technique I'm using. I just move it towards my nose bridge as well. And then I blend it out. I kind of use it to even I kind of use it to even blend out the setting powder. And I go in with my Milani setting spray. And this setting spray is so good for its price. It is really, really good. And you can see after how it just makes everything melt. And then I go in with like a setting powder on my brow because I want it to just not be oily. I want it to be matte kind of. And yeah. And then I sprayed as well with my setting spray. And I literally forgot that I had to use a pressed powder on my other areas of my face. So I went back in with a pressed powder. That is what I am using here. A pressed powder. This is the V Beauty. It's like a powder palette. But still, if you have a pressed powder, your powder, your skin tone. Oh no, this is actually Maybelline Fit Me pressed powder. Yeah. And then I go with my lip liner. This lip liner is so creamy. It's from Nuban Beauty in the shade J10. This is like my go-to lip liner now. I mean, until I get something that serves me better. And I like to just go in after that with my lip gloss. This is the Ushas Beauty lip gloss. And I like to actually go to, yeah. And then I go back in with my liner to just make sure everything is blended properly. You just have to look at whatever you're doing and make sure it's given. So it wasn't given, and I had to just line it again. And yeah, I go with my pink lip gloss to just, instead of going in with just like a white lip gloss straight up, I go in with like a pink lip gloss and then apply an actual lip gloss. And yeah, my highlighter on the bridge of my nose. I don't actually apply my highlighter any other place, just on the bridge of my nose. And I use my mascara, and that's pretty much it. That's it looks so easy. I mean, it's actually easy. So yeah, that is all for today's look. That was quick, but yeah, I'm glad it was quick because who wants to stay, watching a video all day? And this is the final look. I mean, look how that base looks. It looks so smooth, flawless, and you know, words. I have no words. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you in my next one. Bye.